Welcome to everybody. So really happy and delighted to be here, especially this time of the year, to share with you a little bit about boosting the immune system, supporting the immune system. And that will bring us through this busy period now of Christmas and beyond. But before we start, I love to get you guys interacting with me as well, because, instead of looking at slides and hearing to what I have to say, I want to hear what you guys, maybe in the chat box, you can let me know of some of the things that you'd like to get from today's session, or are there any nutrition questions or health and wellness questions maybe that you want to ask, and maybe I can answer them as I go. But would love to just hear kind of some of your objectives for today's session before I go along with what I have to share with you. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes there just to see if anybody would like to share anything. And it can be anything around supplements, the right ones to take. It can be around lifestyle, diet. So really what I want to share with you guys today is my tips around immunity, how to support. It's a huge topic, and I'll share more about that as we go. But being where we are at the moment, it's so important to look after our immune systems. So before we start, let me introduce myself and who I am and why I'm here and why I have a passion for health and wellness. So I've been within the training field and for around over 20 years now, and within my own health and my own journey is where I became the Queen of Health. And I've seen how the body can heal itself if it's given the right environment, and not just around food. It has to be mindset shift, it has to be exercise, and it has to be the things that we do from a lifestyle perspective. So for me, 8 years ago, I changed those three things: my mind, my body, and movement. I looked at my nutrition. How could I change things while not restricting or going on any fad diets? I had a big shift in my mindset and how I had to change that to get to where I wanted to be. And as a result, miraculous things happened to me. You can check out my full story on my website. I won't go into it today because I don't want to take up your time with that. But if you have a read of that, it will show you that how I made those changes and how I was able to change my environment, change my food, change my lifestyle, and heal myself. And as I said, miraculous things happened for me. And then I wanted just to get out there. And I always had an interest in wellness and the body itself. And that now, being the Queen of Health, it's amazing to be an ambassador for people for health and wellness, and to get out there and share the message of how taking care of yourself really is so important. And I do mention on all my talks about having that health account, like your bank account, your savings account, and even taking one or two of the things that I share with you today. And that will help to build up your health savings account along the way. Because as I mentioned, we're coming into this busy period now of Christmas. I know that generally a lot of people, their adrenaline may kick in, if you're in a kind of stressful job, or if you're in retail or whatever, employment that you're in, it can get a little bit hectic. It can get hectic in work, it can get hectic with family, and all those, people, if we're able to at the moment get out and meet people, and there's a lot of things going on. So our immune system becomes a little bit overwhelmed. And what I find with my clients is that their adrenaline, their stress hormone, cortisol, is all fired up. And as soon as we get that couple of days over Christmas to relax, it's when the immune system then it tends to react. So you've gone on full throttle from now up until Christmas, and then you start to relax. That the immune system then starts to go, okay, what's going on? And this is where the coughs, the colds, the virals, when we're a little bit run down per se. So I want to share with you some hints and tips. I also want to do a mind coaching little session as part of this with you. So I get you thinking about 2022 around your health and wellness. And it's not just about getting through now, it's looking at 2022. And a lot of people will have New Year's resolutions and will start this. I always say to people, start now, start with some of the things that I mentioned today and see how you get on. That 2022 is just, you're adding on, you're just topping back up that health savings account. Okay, so really I want to share with you, as I said, my top tips to keep you fighting fit this month and beyond, because it's not that anything I share today is just for the month of December. This is for a lifestyle change. These are little things that you can incorporate every single day. And a question has come in there. Any recommendations on supplements will be appreciated, especially for energy. So there's a good few. Let me just answer that as we go along. And one of the questions I'm always asked from my clients is, should we be taking supplements? And when I'm working with people, we obviously will work on nutrition. We'll work on getting the right foods in, that you're getting vitamins and minerals in there. But if you're not eating 100% organic, in season, locally sourced food, and a rainbow of food, you know, that color of rainbow on your plate, and you're getting 7 to 9 portions of fruit and veg every day, then, you know, it typically is that you're missing out on some of those minerals and some of those vitamins. So everybody can supplement with a vitamin, a mineral. I always say, have a chat with your pharmacist. The pharmacists are great. If you go in, have that chat with them in case you're on any medication that can interfere, because vitamins, there's certain ingredients that can interfere with medication. But for energy, so a lot of people don't realize this, that if you're stressed, worried, anxious, your body uses up its restore of B vitamins, and B vitamins help with energy. They convert your food into energy, because a lot of people will say to me, Nichola, I eat so healthy, but I still feel really tired. But then we go that they're stressed, they're overworked, and their B vitamins have been depleted. So a B complex can be sometimes a great one for energy. Another one for energy can be CoQ10. A CoQ10 is something that we produce naturally in our cells, our mitochondria, for energy. But as we get older, so from the age of 25, it generally starts to diminish. So taking a CoQ10 supplement can increase energy. If somebody's on statins medication, they are naturally recommended to go on a CoQ10. So there's some of the two anyway, B vitamins, CoQ10, but do check in with your pharmacist, your doctor, before you start anything new. Okay, so the very first thing, obviously, as a nutritionist, I have to talk about food, and we have to talk about real food. And there's so many processed foods out there, and the food industry is, it's jammed packed with foods that are deemed as healthy. But when you get into reading labels and starting to know your foods, you can start to see that they're not as healthy as they say. And marketing is amazing, and it's amazing at promoting anything that is deemed healthy but may not be. So really, real food is, when you go into the supermarket, it's the ones that are not in packaging. It's the fresh fruits, the vegetables. Frozen fruits and vegetables are good as well. Your meats, your pulses, your tofu, and all those different things, your lean proteins. It's when you start to go into the middle aisle of the supermarket is where we start to see the processed. And as they say, if the shelf life is a long shelf life, the longer the shelf life, the shorter ours. So it goes back to the 80-20% rule. Eat 80% of nutritious, wholesome, unprocessed food, and it still allows for 20% of the treats. So for me, there are no restrictions, there are no fad diets. It's about living life, changing your life to a good lifestyle. So eating real food. And sugar, we'll talk about sugar in a little bit as well. We're all addicted to it, myself included. And when I say, again, just to recap on the eating the real food, so going back to the perfect plate, as I call it, with my clients, and it's looking at a protein source. So having really good protein sources on your plate, lean protein like fish, chicken, for vegetarian like tofu, beans, and lentils. Making sure that that's a quarter of your plate is good quality lean protein. Balances your blood sugar, supports the immune system, and protein is so important for your immune system. Carbohydrate, so we need good quality carbohydrate because that breaks down into our fuel. So the body, when we eat a carbohydrate, will break it down into glucose to use it for energy. And like the B vitamins that I was talking about, when we eat our foods, the B vitamins break them down into energy. So that's why we really need them. And when you're stressed or anxious or overworked, your B vitamins can be depleted. And as I mentioned, follow the 80-20% rule. It's a really good one. A lot of people with a work week can be structured Monday to Friday, and they can be a little bit looser at the weekend. And it works for my clients, it works for me, and it's a great way just to support your immune system, and that you're not on this crazy 4-week journey of maybe trying to just cut out everything, and then come January you're like, oh my god, I want to go back to the old me. So it's incorporating small little changes along the way. With the brain, so we have to look at our brain as well, because it's made from what we eat. If we look at the likes of, say, a lot of caffeine, alcohol and nicotine, they can disrupt that chemistry. And also alcohol can be a depressant for many, many people. And we have to remember that, you know, when we eat, we feel good, we're energized, we're supporting the immune system as well. The brain is 65% fat. So we need to make sure that every single day we're getting good quality sources of fat in. So remember to have, you know, nuts, seeds, oily fish. For those people that don't eat 3 portions of fish a week, and maybe we have some vegetarians or vegans here today, you need to look at maybe supplementing with a fish oil if you're not getting that quality in. And generally when I work with people, if they haven't been eating fish or good quality, good fats in their diet, I'll put them on a fish oil, or I'll use a udos vegetarian for those that don't eat fish or meat. And we'll just work on that to top it up while they start to bring in the good foods. And that really has a great positive effect on both the brain and the immune system. But if we look at neurotransmitters, which are made from what we eat, we look at serotonin. So you can get this in your eggs, bananas, dairies, and dates. Dopamine, again, in eggs, meats. Like, I love eggs. I think they're an all-rounder for, you know, your proteins, your fats. They just have everything in there, and now they work on the brain as well. And GABA. So this is made from glutamine, and we can find this in cabbage, Brazil nuts, and potatoes. With Brazil nuts, to support the immune system, they have selenium in them. So just 1 to 2 Brazil nuts a day will give you your daily quota of selenium that we need just to support our immune system. And if our diet is not varied, our mood can be unstable then as well. And as I said, the majority of our brain is made up of fats, and we don't generally have that connection with that. So essential fatty acids, we need them every single day just to make sure, you know, even from, you know, brain fog to memory to concentration. So just for that as well. And when we look at the immune system, it is like this jigsaw of connections. And one thing, you know, you can be deficient in one vitamin, it can suppress your immune system, and all sorts can go wrong. So it really is just making sure that we are topping up everything as much as we can, because the nerve cells are coated in this fatty substance called myelin. And if this is damaged or missing, then we're not getting, you know, proper transmission to the brain. So we do need fat, the good quality fats, to make sure that we have myelin in our system for the brain. So some of the happy meals, those that will support both our brains, our mood, and also the immune system, is porridge. It's one of the best go-tos. It's an easy one, especially this time of year when we want to be hibernating, we want to be just warm, cozy, and have that nourishing food. So oats are a great one to have each morning. If you're going to have your oats, make sure you get something on it like milled flaxseed. It just gives you your essential fatty acids there, gives a little bit of protein, and it just fills you up for longer as well. Baked potatoes are a powerhouse when it comes to, you know, supporting our immune systems and our brains as well. You can top them up with tuna, cottage cheese, and salad. chicken breast, good quality protein is needed at every single meal with the brown rice, maybe green beans, having whole wheat spaghetti, maybe adding in some beans, tofu. I love, one day a week is to have one meal that is plant-based, and just to, even if I'm having, say, a shepherd's pie, it's to take out the mince and put in the lentils, make it the same way. And it just means then that you're just supporting the immune system as well by using different alternatives as well. And the lentils are full of protein, full of fiber as well. And obviously, as we mentioned, then the salmon really, it's got loads of good fats in there, really good for our brain health. And you can make that with quinoa. You can have a lentil bolognese as well. So then we have to look at the tummy. So with the tummy and with our immune system. So a lot of our immunity is in the gut. You may have heard of the word dysbiosis or IBS. When somebody has IBS, it's when the doctors know there's something going on, but they can't label it. They can't put something on it. And people can go years with IBS. They can go with, different things going on with the gut. The gut is the second brain, and we really need to fuel it with pre and probiotic foods. And also taking a probiotic supplement is really beneficial, especially at this time of year as well. So we really do need to look after the gut. Like, it is the direct communication between the brain. As I said, it is called the second brain. 90% of our serotonin is made in the gut. So that feel-good factor. And antidepressants can affect digestion, and improve digestive health can enhance the mood as well. Okay. So also then what we need to do is, how can we actually look after our gut? So I've mentioned basically you can take a probiotic. I generally would recommend that somebody takes a probiotic for 3 months just to top back up the good bacteria. If you've been on an antibiotic this year, last year, and you haven't had a probiotic, do go and talk to the pharmacist and see what one they recommend for you as well. Because as I have here, like, our guts really do take that beating every year. If the gut goes down, our immune system can suppress as well. And, from the IBS, people can get irritable bowel disease. It can start to translate into other things. So we have to be really, really careful. And as I said, trying to get those prebiotic and probiotic foods into us. So the healthiest people have the most diverse population of gut bacteria. So they have a wide range of food going in. They may take a probiotic as well. And as I said, diversity in bacteria is achieved through a varied diet. So when we look at prebiotic foods, so start thinking about maybe getting some onions into your diet daily, garlic, Jerusalem artichokes, and these will feed your good bacteria. Because when there's dysbiosis, people may have yeast infections, and if their diet is high in sugar, without even realizing it, that if they eat something high in sugar, they're feeding the bad bacteria, which can make them feel worse. So when I've got clients and we're working with IBS or we're working with gut issues, it's like a little minefield and a jigsaw of seeing, okay, what's going on and how can we change things with them? And the probiotic foods, so sauerkraut, kefir, yogurt, natural plain yogurt, not anything with sugar added, kimchi and tempeh are really good forms of probiotic foods, and they all contain good bacteria. So, the onions and the garlic are the easy ones to get in when we're cooking. It's maybe having a look at the probiotic ones, like raw natural yogurt, live yogurt. And, sauerkraut is an easy one. It's nice to have with some meals too. And a lot of people then are doing kefir or kimchi. So keep an eye out for those and see how you can incorporate them into your diet. Sugar. So sugar is known to suppress the immune system. If people have high levels of sugar, it can cause inflammation in the body. And, basically what I do say to people is, just try and swap the sugary treats. So if yours is 11 o'clock go-to of maybe a scone with your cup of coffee, it's seeing how can you incorporate that treat with something that's more healthy. And as I have here, sugar, flames, it fans the flames of inflammation and affects the ability of white blood cells to fend off viruses and bacteria. So when somebody does become ill or sick, if they look back at the past month of how their diet has been, how their stress levels have been, generally they can see a correlation with things that haven't been as good as they would have hoped. So the immune system stays depressed for hours after consuming sugar, and this is according to recent studies. So if you want to say hot chocolates, especially, in the weather that we're having at the moment, try raw cacao or cocoa. And you can get this in all, of the leading supermarkets. You can add your favorite milk to it and maybe some stevia or xylitol instead of sugar or sweeteners. These are natural sweeteners that are plant-based. And chocolate too. So I will always get my clients to replace their milk chocolate with their dark chocolate and go for the higher rates of dark chocolate, like 70% plus. And there's so many nice ones out there at the moment. And once you change your taste buds, it can be really, really, you kind of won't go back. Okay, so then water. Water is really, really important. Anybody that's listened to me before, they'll always know I'll talk about water first thing in the morning, because when we wake up, we are naturally dehydrated because our body has done miraculous things of cleansing and flushing out different toxins. So generally people will wake up in the morning and it's straight for the tea or the coffee because we need that kick just to make sure that we're awake and to kickstart our engines. But the best thing that you could do, and the one thing you could take from today, is to take a small glass of water. It doesn't have to be warm, doesn't have to be lemon. You can move towards that as you get used to this, but small glass of water each morning before you have your tea, before you have your coffee. It just kickstarts the digestion, kickstarts your metabolism and hydrates you before you go dehydrating yourself further with tea and coffee. And as I have here, it flushes germs from your system. It helps your blood to carry plenty of oxygen to your body cells. And for us, our engines, think of a car engine, it works on diesel or petrol or electricity. For us, our engines are designed to work on water. And even if you are to try and bring yourself to 2 liters of water a day, your mood will increase, your energy will increase. It's just something that we've taken for granted. But if you go back to basics and get the water in, you will start to feel much, much better while supporting your immune system as well. And don't forget herbal teas, they count too. Once there's no caffeine in there, they are fantastic. Green tea, it does have a little bit of caffeine in there, but it's amazing for the immune system. It's amazing for mood enhancer as well, green tea. Not everybody likes the taste of green tea, but you can get it with lemon and jasmine, but maybe just to aim for 1 cup of herbal tea each day. If water is not your thing, you can get the berry herbal tea bags, pop it in your 2 liter water, it diffuses and it puts a nice taste of the water and it makes it easier to go down as well. So vitamin D, really, really important. And I just ask in the chat box with vitamin D, can I just check to see if anybody's on a vitamin D supplement at the moment? Just a yes or no. Let's see if any other questions. Okay, so some people are, some people aren't. Okay. So with me and vitamin D, it's very important. Obviously, we'll hear a lot about it at the moment with supporting the immune system. And people don't realize that vitamin D is a hormone. It's made by when the sunshine hits our skin, it converts the hormone into a vitamin D. Now, what happens this time of year? A lot of people do not like the likes of, say, November, December, and January because it's very dark and dull, and it's seasonal affective disorder without them even realizing it, because their vitamin D levels have really diminished down. And obviously we can look to the diet to boost our vitamin D by oily fish, eggs, cheese, or fortified foods. What I do suggest is it is worth checking, with the doctor, maybe to get a test to see where your vitamin D levels are. A lot of us are deficient without even realizing it. I find, especially with people with SAD syndrome, seasonal affective disorder, they're going to work in the dark. They're maybe in not direct light where they work, and they're coming home in the dark. So they're getting no direct sunlight, which is converting into that hormone vitamin D for them. So definitely worth a check with your doctor, worth checking in with pharmacists as well. There's some fantastic vitamin D products out there at the moment, and ones that you can spray, so you don't have to take a tablet. You can literally spray under your tongue and go. So yeah, definitely it is worth. Great one for support system, but great one for mood, energy as well. And sleep, we need a lot of sleep, and it's not good if we're being tired. It's not good for the immune system. I have a little study here, like in one study done at a university in Pennsylvania. People said that they felt fine and dandy if they had less than 7 hours of sleep at night. They were 3 times more likely to catch the cold than the people who had the average of 8 hours or more. So one of the things I say to people as well is to be mindful, as when you wake up in the morning, your cortisol levels are naturally high to get you through the day. As we come through the day into the evening and you start to, sit down, relax, and you go, oh, I actually feel tired, I could go to bed. That's your body telling you, okay, now it's time to go to bed. But what tends to happen is people will start to flick through social media, or they're watching telly, or say you're watching Netflix and something, you're at the edge of your seat watching it, you start to bring back up your cortisol level. So if you don't have good sleep hygiene like that, maybe start with looking at what you're doing before you go, an hour before you go to bed. How long is it before you've eaten, with the digestive system, and making sure that you're switching off, your phone's on airplane mode, anything in the room like a television is switched off as well. So there is little things that you can do there as well. And then obviously exercise is a big thing. What I say to people is, don't go and embark now. Oh, Nichola said I have to go now, and part of her jigsaw is to exercise. Moving the body for 30 minutes each day is really important for a mindset, and obviously from toxins, and to support the immune system. The body has a lymphatic system which takes out toxins and different things in the body. And if that becomes congested, or we're not moving, that's when our immune systems can suppress. The thing with the lymphatic system is, it's not like your heart where it has a pump to pump the blood around. The lymph system really depends on us moving. So, jumping up and down, pounding, walking, rebounding, any exercise. So that's why I always suggest to my clients, move for 30 minutes every day, just to get that lymphatic system, wake it up, and get rid of the toxins out of the body as well. And obviously, if you know me, you'll know that I love starting the day with a smoothie. A smoothie is a great way to support your immune system, because you can get your fresh vegetables in there as well as the fruit, but also you can put super boosts in there that may help to support your immune system, and just, keep your body fighting off those viruses, bacteria, because we have an army inside that as soon as something comes in, like a virus or bacteria, the army waking up. But we want to do as much as we can to support that army too. And then herbs and spices. So again, this is something that we take for granted as well when we start to cook. They obviously add flavor, but they've been around for thousands of years, and they have helped to prevent sickness, but to boost and support the immune system. The likes of, garlic, the likes of ginger, turmeric. They're great for soups. They're great for juices, if that's your thing. Great for smoothies. It's getting them in any way that we can. Okay, so as I mentioned at the very start, I want to just do something now quickly with your own mindset and setting some goals, because as I mentioned, a lot of people go into this time of year thinking, okay, sure, look, I'll start in January. But if you can start now and start to top up that health account, January will be a better month. Your immune system will thank you for that as well. And you keep your blood sugars balanced as you go through Christmas. Obviously, you can have your treats and different things, but that you're not starting at the bottom in January. So if you have a pen and piece of paper at the ready, I'd love to just do something really quick with that with you. Okay, so I call this my Christmas survival development plan, really to get you thinking about your own health, your own wellness, and seeing what you can do. And this is for you, this is private. And maybe what I say with people is, when you put your goals down, pop them in your diary, pop them on your desk, somewhere where you see them every day, that you're doing a little business health check-in with yourself every morning, just to see, okay, wrote those down, and they don't go and get forgotten about. Okay, so when we look at health improvements, what would be the health improvement that you would like to make from now up to Christmas? So write that down on your piece of paper. It could be energy, it could be sleep, it could be just to support your immune system, or maybe get the 80-20% rule right. But just think and focus on that one thing that you want to do. And the second thing, I can't really see that there, is around your fitness. So what would you like to do with your fitness? It could be maybe to maintain over the Christmas period. It could be, okay, Nichola said I need to move for 30 minutes every day. It could be as big as that, or it could be I'm going to move for 15 minutes, whatever is your starting point. So write down, what is your fitness goal from now until Christmas? And now what I want you to think of is your other goals. So your habits, lifestyle, and well-being. What habits would you like to improve? So is there any kind of habits? Maybe it's the 11 o'clock scone and coffee, or maybe it's a cappuccino and you're saying I'm going to change that habit to an Americano, or I'm going to reduce my sugar and maybe switch over to xylitol or stevia. Lifestyle. So, are you going to start putting on your own oxygen mask first, looking after yourself, a little bit of TLC for yourself, and with your well-being then as well, what are you going to do? So I'll just let you write down 1 or 2 goals there for your habits, your lifestyle, and your well-being. And finally then, guys, what are your reasons for wanting to make these changes and improvements to your health and well-being? Maybe it's to top up that health account. Maybe it's longevity. So just have a think of what is your main reason for those goals that you've just set for yourself. And I'm just going to finish off with some stats then for you as well. So I've been talking about this health account and topping it up with different things, mind, body, movement. But by the time we reach our 60s, what do you think are the stats out of 100% of developing one or more of the degenerative diseases that we actually can see here? Cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and arthritis. So it's actually 83% of people, by the time they reach 60, will have one or more of those degenerative diseases. I see it in my clinic already. I've seen it with friends. I've seen it with family, people in their 50s. I've even seen people now in their 40s are starting to get these. But we can all make a difference. We can all start to do different things, those goals that you've just set there. Hopefully that you now will focus on them and trying to incorporate them over the coming weeks into Christmas, and that you're starting January then with a new mindset as opposed to a New Year's resolution. So guys, if you want to reach out to me, you want to get any more on my website, I've got loads of nutritional resources that you can avail of for free. I'm the Queen of Health all over social media, and I will be sending the guys, Saoirse and the team, some free links if you want to just do a complimentary health check-in with me over the next couple of weeks.